T.B.Photo X1.5 to FX, and welcome back to another video. Well, here I am sitting trying to be pseudo-intellectual by reading the National Healthcare Workers Union's monthly paper. Well, anyway, let's get on with a little bit, shall we? Well, we all know what type of global events are taking place, so I don't think I need to go into the details of that situation anything further, but as someone who works in a hospital setting, the weeks are basically you feel like you're shuttling to and from work and not really any real time for anything for your own leisure in between. Yeah, basically just back and forth to work and so on. So as it is so eloquently put in Stephen King's The Shining, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, which I start to realize the gravity of those words. But nonetheless, this is recorded on another rainy Sunday afternoon. That sounds like Lemon Tree. 90s reference for all you back out there in YouTube land. But anyway, I did a little trip to some relatives during the weekend just to get a change of scenery and try to recharge over the weekend. So I actually packed this lot of photographic equipment for a little bit of nature photography and so on, and I think I'm gonna show you a little bit of the images taken. So what did I bring? Well, the 70 to 300 for wildlife photography, the 30 to 70 millimeter f2.8D lens for the general walking around stuff, two close focus lenses, the Sigma, I can never remember, what is it, 24 millimeter close-up Sigma wide angle, and the 60 millimeter AF micro Nikkor 60 millimeter f2.8D lens as well, and the specialty close, or rather this street photography legend 20 to 35 millimeter f2.8D, if some photographers are going to be believed. Well, that's the lenses that I brought. Also, of course, my little creative lighting system acquisition, the SU800. I've seen it in previous installments, and two flashes, an SB800 and an SB900. Also, I did a little bit of a new acquisition because I didn't have an extra battery for the SU800. So I brought along my new little acquisition, which is this, the Nikon SC29, which is a flash cord a full TTL flash cord that you put on the camera hot shoe. It has a built-in autofocus assist light, just as the SB800 and 900 as shown here. It's the red plate down here, you can see on both of them, and this one as well has some autofocus assist lights, don't know how well they will be shown, and a on-off system here to use the assist lights if you so choose. But anyway, I thought also that this, I'm just going casual barefoot now, just to, you know, be a little bit more casual. But anyway, I probably have shown some images here somewhere or in the entire screen for some B-roll, and that's because I actually tried the camera that was a little bit of a teaser. I got a few examples of what you thought it was, and they were actually pretty close guesses actually. I actually acquired the camera that I would call the real D3X. It's not a D3, but it is the camera I would consider the real D3X because of its incredible color rendition that has been unsurpassed for the most Nikon cameras present and in the past. So which camera is it? Well, it's the sort of legendary D700. Yeah, I have gotten myself my first full-frame digital DSLR from Nikon. This camera got a little bit of flack, I would believe, in the media because of this. And as Gary Friedman, who talked about the Minolta, what was it? I think that was a 35mm camera, but he talked about that if you're in the mainstream media about photography gear, a professional camera does not have a pop-up flash. But this one still does, the D700, and this can use the flash in commander mode. So yeah, it has that little fabled gold FX symbol there. I have my, the little bit of a vintage camera strap for it. It's a 12 megapixel camera that made a name for itself to have one of the best color renditions of any Nikon professional grade DSLR. And after looking at the images that I've taken over the weekend, I can't anything other than agree that it is actually a really brilliant camera for the colors that it can reproduce. And the plus in the edge, as we see in Swedish, that's a Swedish saying, I believe, ett plus I kanten, a plus in the corner. It is a brilliant piece of kit still in 2020. So in hindsight, we can say that it is still a brilliant. I think that Matias Burling, another YouTuber, has done his own, another Swedish YouTuber, if I don't mistaken, has done his own review quite recently on the D700. This is basically very similar in specs to the Nikon DF, which was Nikon's sort of a trial to make a vintage style classic camera, but the guts is basically the same as in this one, and it has the same 12 megapixel sensors as from my research that the now fabled D3 has. But anyway, a little bit now about the subject. So first off, we went to this little nature park that is right behind the Gävle hospital, the regional hospital of Gävle. There is this park, I'm gonna show you the name of it here. Yeah, and also a little bit of the trees that, it is a nature park, so on, that you can walk through and so on. It's completely free and so on. You have the right to go there and explore at your own leisure. Nothing special as such, but the thing about this park is that it has a little bit of a river going through it, and we have beavers in this river. So this is what a beaver can do with quite big trees. So these trees are one that is about to be falling over and one that has been felled over by beavers gnawing away at the stem. Really incredible feat. Nature is amazing in my opinion. But also, if we go further, I went around another nature forest type tour where I have been before. I think I did a nature walk with one of my Mamiya medium format cameras that I still have in the cupboard behind me, but this time I went with the D700 and some of these lenses, and I used the creative lighting system extensively during this little nature walk. One thing that I would really like to put out for this camera when I did it, when I did take it with flash, I took this and I put it from automatic white balance. There is a dedicated white balance button on the top here, and I put it into flash white balance. That meant that the sunlight would color shift the entire scene very much into a warmer spectrum of light, but the flashes would also give you that the camera recognize the flash as white light, or it will expose the white balance for flash. So that was really prevalent in the images, and I'm gonna show just so you see it in the images. Also, I went, as I've shown in a previous video, the first book of my favorite photographer Leonard Nielsen was about ants, and I came upon an ant hill actually, and I used the Nikkor 60mm AFD with the flash system as such on the anthill, and I think I got some really interesting images of Swedish skogsmyra is what I've been able to gather, which it is an ant hill building ant kind of ant, and it is symbolized for a black head, black tail end, and a red body. And it's one of the most common species of ant in Sweden, apparently, or most of Scandinavia. At least it's what the Wikipedia article showed me. But I thought I got some really interesting macro lens images with ants and so on, and nature close up, which was very interesting to me at least. And I hope you get some enjoyment out of it as well. Otherwise, it wasn't really that much of a bird day. Well, it was the normal suspect, seagulls and mallards and so on, and geese, which are quite common this time of year. But I think that I'm gonna round it all together a little bit now. I know that I did a previous video about doing some microscopy imagery and Japanese peace lilies and so on. Well, I just, as stated, work has been atrocious, and it is basically the same for every single person, more or less, who works in healthcare globally, I would probably guess right now. So yeah, I just needed a change of scenery to just let myself a little breathing room from work. But I think that that's all for me for now, and as always, this is Tobias Bergström from T.B.Photo X1.5 to FX, and please like, share, comment and subscribe, and for everything else for you, most importantly, stay safe, adhere to the rules and regulations during this tough time globally, I have to say. So yeah, all the best to you, and hope we are pulling through this tough time together. Yeah, that's all for me for now on, and take care from now on. Bye.